Hello, everybody. Welcome back to episode number 12 here in the EMC's to the Skies playthrough. Today, we're going to be working on several different things. One is mystical agriculture. We have quite a few things to discuss in here. We're going to be working on thermal expansion and building some machines here and getting that going. And we are going to be working in power, which is a mod for generating power. So we're going to be doing a lot of auto crafting with refined storage to get these things set up. But the first thing I wanted to talk about is mystical agriculture. We had started this a little bit in our last episode, and I've done a few more things off camera just to get some things going here. And I want to discuss what we're going to be doing with mystical agriculture, because in a world where we have EMC, we don't necessarily need to grow large amounts of crops. But one thing we want to do is these seed quests here. And if you read the description here, you're going to need a stack of each essence from this tier to upgrade to the tier 1 catalyst. So the tier 1 catalyst, if we look in our JEI here, tier 1, we have tier 1 catalyst. We have two different types of things here. We have the mini catalyst, which we've already made, and they're used to make resources from the resource generator. So we get resource capsules from that, and then we use them to create these things. We then have tier 1 catalysts and tier 1 large catalysts. So tier 1 catalyst, we take a mini catalyst and we combine it in the catalytic converter with one stack of each of these essences, and it becomes a large catalyst. The large catalyst is then combined with another stack of each of them to make the the regular catalyst is then combined to make the large catalyst. And those are used in the resource generator. So with the tier 1 catalyst, we get medium resource capsules, and those generate more items for us. And if we go to the large catalyst, which is this one here, that one is used to generate these large resource capsules. So those, we can take 3 of them to make blocks of iron and items like that. So instead of making the items in a small amounts, we can make really large amounts. And if you look at this process, it still takes the same amount of ticks. So basically, with the setups that we have down in our basement that we can use, if we go down all the way down, jetpack is always causing me trouble. If we go to these same setups and I were to change the catalyst out to large ones, let's look at the tier 2 just to kind of get us an idea, because that's what's making most of our EMC right now. If we, instead of using a mini catalyst, we use a large catalyst and we get the large resource capsules. For 3 of them, instead of making 1 diamond, we can make, or 8 of them making 1 diamond, we can make a block of diamond, which means that we can take this process and increase it by 9-fold just by swapping out these catalysts for the large versions of them. So that's what we're getting into Mystic Agriculture for, so that we can create large amounts of EMC without too much trouble. And so we're going to focus on that today. The first part of that is getting together our Inferium and making it into something new. So if we check out essences in here, the first essences we have are the essences for the Inferium, Prudentium, Tertium, Imperium, Supremium, and then we have Insanium. These are used to craft, among other things, different seeds. And so if we were to look in our quest book, each one has 6 of these. The skeleton seeds are crafted using Tertium essence and Tertium or soul seed base, and then soul jars. And then let's look at one that's not, I think the ones, there are some that are mob ones, but most of these are resource-based ones. Let me look, I'm just checking. This one is the only one that's a mob-based one. The rest of these are like this. So we create them using different levels of essence, a seed base, and then in this case, iron ingots to make iron. And if we were to do like the diamond ones, for example, we would use diamonds, and you'd need different levels of the essence. There are 6 for each tier. So tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. So I've set up ahead of time this setup right here. And it's 6 different powered planters for each tier. And I actually want to change this so that the power line goes across the top. I had changed it just a little bit. And then we want to connect it here. So basically this is just a setup to make it so that we have power going to 6 different planters for each tier. And we're going to go through and we're going to make each seed and we're going to put them in there with the proper soil so that we can get them to start growing essences for us. Now there's a couple different ways that we can do the process of turning Inferium into other essences. But first I'm going to go up and I'm going to show you how we just craft them, to give you an idea of what our decision-making process for getting that Inferium going is. So when we look at our essences here, I have been growing Inferium in the planter down there for a while, just AFK. We've gotten up to almost 40,000. Every time you craft a Prudentium, it uses 4 of the lower tier. So it's kind of like tiers up. So this takes 4 of that, which means this one takes 16 of that one. This one takes 64 of the starter. And Supremium takes 4 times 64, which is 156. No, 256. Video math is always great. And then Insanium is 4 times that, so that would be 1,028. So we need 1,028 of this for every Insanium that we make. So you can see we're definitely going to need a ton of Inferium. As far as the crafting process itself, we use crystals. So the crystals, I want to see if I have a place where I can see them all together. Let's just look at the recipe for this one and I can see it. So it's infusion crystals. So let's search for that. So these are all the different infusion crystals. We start with the Inferium one. You use Inferium, you use Prosperity Shards, and you use Inferium Gemstones to craft them. Each tier then uses the previous one and goes higher and higher and higher until you get to the Master Infusion one. The Master Infusion one uses 4 of the Insanium essences and the tier before it, and you get to the Master. This is a universal one that works for all of these, and it has infinite uses. So that is our first goal, is to get to that. So the process, let's craft one of these so I can show you. If we want to craft the essences, and we want to do, for example, Prudentium, we use the Inferium Infusion Crystal, we use 4 of these, and we can craft a stack at a time, and we can do, each has 256 uses, so we can do 4 like that. So I've done that a while to get the Prudentium. The Tertium, we need to make one of these crystals. So let's work on making some of those just to demonstrate it. And so you can see you can make 4 stacks out of the last one. This one you can make a little bit more before you run out of crystal. But before I ran out of crystal, I ran out of Prudentium. Let's go up 1 more tier than that. To do the Imperium. Again, we need to make the crystal first. Imperium, this crystal. So we actually need the crystal before that to make the crystal. So basically what I'm trying to get at to show you here is that it's a really tough process to go from one to the next. And in the crafting grid here, it can get really confusing because when we look at the crystals, they have durability, we use them up, and then it's just difficult for the auto crafter to know what to do with those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a system to automatically make different tiers of essences, and then we'll be able to keep them all in stock from a single source growing for the Inferium, and then we'll always have them for when we need to craft things. So I'm going to take the process and set it up, and then I will show you how it works. Because this is our system that's growing Inferium. We may need to upgrade this as well, but for now, we are going to just make it so that this is automatically turned into all the other essences. I did some changes. We need a lot of Inferium essence and other essences. So I set up a system here to automate it. So I'm going to show you the result first, and then I'm going to show you how we did it. So I have a drawer that holds seeds here. a drawer that holds the fertilized essence. Then I have the Insanium essence drawer, and then all 4 of the tiers below it, and then 1 for the Inferium. And these have different types of upgrades in them. So these are all downgraded so that they only hold 1 stack. And this one is upgraded so it can hold 12,000 stacks. So it'll just keep growing the regular essence. If I take one of these out, so let's see, I take this one out, it automatically crafts a new one. It means I can't put it back in, which is fine. And then the way that it does that is I have these power pots making Inferium. They're all the way down here. I don't think they're actually running at full progress because I don't think I have enough power to cover all of them. But they're all connected to power. And then I have these crafters on the back side. So the crafter tier 3s are from RF Tools Utility. And there's 3 different tiers of crafter. And I set it up for auto crafting so I can make them in the future if I need them. So it just takes very small ingredients. And the tier 3 is the fastest and the highest of them. So I just made those. And then I made recipes for each thing. So in this one, Inferium Essence is imported in. There's a Master Crystal in here, and it is crafted to make Prudentium, which goes to here. It's important that you set this to XC, which is, it puts the crafting operation out to the output buffer, but remaining items like buckets stay in. This is used again for the next recipe, so it keeps it in here. That way you don't have to send it back in. I then have the essences imported from the bottom. I then have the output exported out and put back into this drawer controller so that the Prudentium is put in here. Then it is exported to here and turned into Tertium. Same process, another Master Infusion Crystal made for this one. Each of these has their own. It goes all the way up and until it gets to Insanium. And so the Insanium, we keep a stack in there, and then the Supremium, we actually have 2 stacks. So there's a stack in there, and there's already a stack ready to go. Same with the Insanium, because there's a stack here, so as soon as we pull one out and use it, these will get put in, and it'll start crafting more. That's true of all of these, and that's why I set the buffers the way they are, so there's only 1 stack in there. And so the Inferium will constantly go up higher because it goes up to a ridiculous number of Inferium. You know, right now we have 415,000 in there. It'll keep going, and that's like not even a tenth of the way full. So we can get millions of it in there, and it'll just keep going. We'll probably scale this down once we have enough, but we have some stuff to do with this, so we're just going to let it go for now. In order to get this running, I had to upgrade power. So this is our new power array. So I designed this specifically for these fuel cells. So with the coil in place, this fuel cell can do 6 times transfer. So 6,000 RF per tick going out. So I have the top is where the power goes out. The back is where it comes in. Each of these are producing 40 RF per tick. I haven't done any kind of upgrading on them. And so there is 38 of them going back on each row. So times 4 is 152, times 40 is 6,080. Technically, I could take 2 of these off because 2 of them aren't sending power anywhere. And then each of these arrays has 6,000 production and 6,000 going out. The outputs have these advanced pipe upgrades, which means I can send 32,000 ticks across the network, or 32,000 FE per tick across the network. And so I could build 2 more of these and a little bit more and max the pipe out. But frankly, I got tired of building them. But so each of these sides has its own lava link that provides lava, and it keeps these full and producing power for us. It's massive, and it'll get replaced with a new upgrade pretty soon. But it's the tier that I'm at with tech, and made it so that we can do what we need to do. So all of that was just so that we could get into what we wanted to do today, which was making some of these seeds. So let's just start at the We'll do the tier 1 first, but start at the top. So copper seeds require us to get 4 prudentium, a seed base, and 4 copper ingots. So if we grab 4 prudentium, the seed bases, I think, oh, they're in this system. Soon we'll have them connected, and it won't be an issue. And then we need to grab 4 copper, and I don't think we have any in here, but we do have the ability to EMC them. And so, copper, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And so to make a seed, if you recall, we put items around the outside, and these do not have to be in a specific order. I know they are spaced a specific way inside the JEI, but as long as the right ones are on the outside, and we press the button, there we go. We got our first copper seed. And what we're going to do with that, I had set out the power pots earlier, but I moved them. We're going to grab these power pots. We're going to use Mark IIs because that's what we have at the moment. That's the highest tier. And I'm actually going to do, I think I'm going to do a chest underneath them. I had been doing just the drawers, but I think that I have to check. I guess I could look and see. These have 3 outputs. So yeah, I could use a drawer, but it would have to be one of these drawers instead of this drawer. Let's do that. We will try to think of the best way to handle doing this. I kind of want to connect it to that controller, but maybe I'll just get its own controller and do it on this side. That might be better. But let's at least make it kind of neat down here. So 1, 2, 3 away from here is where that all starts. So 1, 2, 3 spaces. So we'll put this like right here. Let me grab a bunch of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is that even with this side? Yeah, because then the controller could go there. And then we'll leave a space. Actually, no, we can do them on top. No, we're going to be putting things on top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, that works out really well. That's almost the exact same length as the other side. And then what we need to get is some trim. So trim is made by taking wood and sticks. Oh, actually, I have it. So let's craft this. We need planks. And so what trim is used for is it's just a holding block in between to connect these up so that when I put a controller on down here, it's going to work. I think the controller... Let's think about this. That's 18, 19, 20. I'm pretty sure the controller goes 25 blocks in each direction, assuming that this version is the same as ones I've played in the past. And I don't... I did make it so it can make it work. So here we go. We put a drawer controller there. We'll put this here. If I say lock, does it lock all of these? Yep, that means they're all connected. Wonderful. So we're going to put this on top. I'm going to run a power line across the top of the room. Connect this up. There we go. And then we'll put our copper seed in there. Did I accidentally put it in here? Oh no, put the copper seed underneath. There we go. Now we have copper seeds growing. And so this is going to grow essence for us. You know what I need to do temporarily. I'll just take that, pick it up. I need to put a chest under there just to get the contents of what it's going to get at first, because it's going to give me the other things, and I need to get an essence and other stuff so that it is able to give me what I need before I put a drawer underneath there, and that's fine. I'll just put this drawer aside, and we'll fix it in a minute. So I'm going to let this grow. I'm going to work on making the other seeds. The process is the same, and so there's no sense in me sitting here going through all of them. We'll just get them made up, and then once we have them all made for the tiers that we have, we'll let this run, because we need to get a bunch of the essence for the future. And then eventually what we can do with these is we can make those higher tiered crystals. And while we don't need these crops growing, if we get those higher tiered crystals, we can make the EMC stuff faster, which means we can generate much more EMC for us to go farther and farther into the pack. Okay, I changed the setup here a little bit just to kind of condense it. So I have the tier 1 seeds here. They're in like a 2-tier system, and they're all growing. And then down in front of it, I have seeds with the essence underneath it for each one. I still haven't gotten seeds for the skeletons, and I haven't gotten some of the seeds here for the tier 2 crops. I have a chest over here for anything that doesn't have a home to land in, and eventually we'll get them all and we'll fill it out. And then we have a spot here for our tier 3 seeds. And we can't make the tier 3 seeds yet because we need to make the tier 3 crystal, the small one, before we can make it, because we don't have aluminum, we don't have emerald, we don't have uranium, osmium, platinum, and uraninite. But we will use the same setup to do it in the future. I also expanded up here a little bit just so I could have the power and the cables going across the ceiling. And up here I just put a soul extractor. I'm going to take that down now. That was to create the skeleton seed, which was the only mob seed we needed. To do those, we just took the we made the soul jars by taking a soul extractor. We put in skeleton skulls, which we've already EMC'd, and we were able to fill that up really quickly. We just needed 4 of those. There was no problem at all. So now we have all these essences we need. What I want to do is I'm just going to work on getting the tier 2 up for now, because I want to get the diamonds working. So I want to look at how that works. So the tier 2 capsule seeds, we need to look in here. And tier 2, you take the catalyst and then you use it with 64 of each of the essences from tier 2 seeds, and then we combine them with, looks like dielectric paste, and we do it in a catalytic converter. So the catalytic converter, we need to have tier 3 resource generator to make this. Okay, so we can't upgrade these until we get into tier 3. That's fine. So let's move on from here for a little bit. That's as far as we can get in anything here. We finished all of these. Let's see, this is explaining how we can use it for the EMC. I really don't want to grab the infusion altar that I have set up. Let's just grab this and this to finish that quest. We can put them right back in. And then prosperity shards, we can craft some. So I think we can just grab them and that'll count. Okay, cool. So that means we're done with everything we can do in here except for the tier 3 stuff. Once we have the tier stuff done, we'll finish this chapter. Oh, we need to make a soulium dagger. I did already make this for the purposes of building that soul extractor because we needed it for the to make the soul jar, but I guess it didn't count because we didn't have the quest unlocked yet. So we're all good there. Just got to get into tier 3 and then we can finish this. So let's move on to thermal expansion. I'm going to do a little bit of this. We're running pretty far into the episode, but I'm hoping I can get at least some of these machines knocked out. Let's go upstairs to our actual refined storage room, because I'm going to be doing a lot of crafting, and this thing runs out of power pretty quick at the moment, so I don't want to be doing it wirelessly. So let's take a look at the first steps. So there's different hardened integral components, reinforced, and resonant. So these are the way that these machines work is you can craft them and then you can upgrade them to higher tiers using these integral components, which also allows you to do more augments, so you can do them faster and stuff like that. So the basic building blocks of them, some of them we already have, the gears, the machine frames. Actually, all of this stuff is stuff we can EMC. So let's start with that one. We're going to grab bricks, redstone, and we're going to need this while we're in there. It was a copper gear. And let's see, what else was it that we needed? Copper gear, bricks, redstone, and a machine frame. I don't know if we made the machine frame. Let's take a look. We did. Oh, that's right. We needed them for the energy cells. So now all we have to do is craft the redstone furnace. Helps if we spell redstone correctly. And then we'll grab one of these. These are EMCable. So let's learn this real quick. And we'll put this stuff back. Now these machines are powered machines. So let's go to, where do we have power? I guess we don't have any easy access to power up here. We'll have to go back downstairs. This really does not like me getting on a ladder when my jetpack is on. We'll just stick it on here just for now, just so we can see it working. So it takes power. Redstone furnace is the simplest thing you can get. So you have cobblestone, for example. We can take that, we can put it in the redstone furnace, and instead of using fuel to cook things, it uses RF, or redstone flux. Very simple. Like I said, we can upgrade using augmentation and integral components to make it a faster machine, to make it have different outputs, different things like that. We are able to control the machines with redstone. We can configure sides so it can automatically output where we want it to. And this shows you the current RF usage that we have. So let's just grab that machine back up. The rest of the machines are pretty simple to construct as far as they have different components, but they're all basically the same. We have slightly different things to make. And then there's some more complicated machines down here. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to make one of each of these machines, and we're going to see what it's going to take for us to do these augmentations. And then I'll come back and show you how those all work. Almost all of the components for the thermal machines are things I either had already made, so they were in my transmutation tablet, or were pretty simple to make. I did make a space here so I can put down the machines and actually get some power, because I needed to pulverize a few things to make it. I'm just going to go through and show you the things that were kind of notable during that process. So one thing was the ice. In order to get ice, I needed to use our Philosopher's Stone. And then when we're in the water, when you click on ice block, I don't know exactly how I got it to work last time. Maybe it had to be at night or something. But I was able to get one. Oh, there it goes. Get an ice block to turn into water, to turn into an ice block, and then I silk touched it. To get the silk touch, I made these silky cloths, which are just made with rose gold and string, which are components that I'd already EMC'd. So now those are also EMCable. And so if I ever need them again, I have them. I'm actually going to throw them in here, though. And then our ice goes in there. That was used to make the blast chiller, which is this one. The rest of these machines are all pretty straightforward to make. Some of them I had to craft a few things, like I had to make a brewing stand, that kind of stuff. But it was all stuff I could EMC, or I could take EMC components and grind them down. The only one of these machines that isn't EMCable is the phytogenic insulator. So if we wanted to make more of those, let's just take a look at the recipe for those. Phytogenic insulator is this one, and it uses lumium gears, which I have to craft by hand because they don't have an EMC value, and so that makes it so that machine isn't. but I'm not going to really use these. These are designed for use where you can take seeds and grow them. I have the botany pots and the powered botany pots, so this isn't really a useful machine for me. I just made it because I wanted to make all the thermal machines. The rest of these, I'm just gonna put them all inside of our system for now. And when we decide we want to build a thermal room, we'll have them in storage. Let's grab this one too, and we'll put that away. Good deal. And then there was a bunch of things that we needed to do for crafting the different parts for the components. So the components are the ones that upgrade the machines. And I don't know why, but the hardened integral components, once I made them, I can EMC them. The resonant internal components are EMCable. Well, the parts for it are. The enderium, I guess it's because it uses lumium, which is not EMCable, and it uses the hardened. And the hardened one I can't EMC either, even though it's because signalium is not EMCable. I just don't understand why enderium is, solarium, signalium is not, lumium is not. Not quite sure what is up with that as far as the logic, but it's not a problem. These I can EMC, and then I can use those to create these using the recipe, using the signalium, which I made a bunch of, and then I can upgrade them to these if I want to. This one is the last one I need to complete the chapter. So we got the chapter completed. Let's go take a look at what we get for completing that chapter. That would be this one here. We're going to take it, and we'll get 16, those 16 of these, or 32 of these and 32 of these. So we'll look and see what those are in just a second. I also had finished the side chapter, and I never took the reward. That gave us one EMC Link Mark 1, which it's not such a great reward. We have plenty of EMC, and they are EMCable, so it throws a little bit in there. That's fine. These are machine upgrades, augments. And this one increases the processing speed but reduces RF efficiency. And this one increases the efficiency but reduces the speed. So basically, if we're short on power and we don't care how long a machine takes, we can use this. If we have plenty of power, but we want something done very quickly, we can use this one. And these are augments that are used in the thermal expansion machines when we use the components. The one thing I do want to try, I'm not even sure if this works, but it's worth trying to see if these dynamos can take the component, the integral component. Oh, it does. And so if I take these integral components and put them in here, now this machine is outputting 160 RF per tick, which means I could shorten this by, a considerable amount. Or if I can get something that can process the power faster, I could do that. I could run this directly. So if I did this 4 times as high, it would be 24,000. I could just connect it directly with a output. The reason I was doing it here is because I didn't want to have to go through and put advanced power in each of these. So each of these at 40, it went into here. So if I could get a cell that went higher. So now let's see, can I put this in here? I can, and now this we can increase all the way up to 24,000. That's interesting. So if I were to go through and simply put in, let's just do a couple of these. These are now producing more power. This machine is now able to process more power because we're able to produce more. So that's a good way that we could go through and upgrade this power to a huge level. So we may work on doing that. We'll see. There's other ways to make power in this pack, and they're probably easier, to be perfectly frank. I wanted to get into Pala and see how that is, because that's probably going to be a pretty decent power source for us because it's all tiered. But I'm running out of time today, so we're going to have to do that in another episode. In the next episode, I'm either going to work on some more in Chapter 2 to get some more of these systems or these chapters finished, or I'm going to jump ahead to do the Tier 3 resources because I want to be able to get those resources going. I'm not quite sure yet, but for now, we're going to call it a day. We got all the thermal machines done. We got the seeds for Tier 1 and Tier 2 going. let's just quick check on what we have in here. I thought we might have some seeds to put away. So skeleton seeds go there. Lapis seeds go there. Silver seeds there. Diamond, gold, and our last one is our nickel seeds. So now any seeds that come in here will go in. Any essences will go in. And I even have a drawer for the fertilized essence. So I also have one of those over here. But now we have a lot of that. And all of that is connected to our system. So if we look for essence, we can see all of that. We can even craft with it if we wanted to and make items, but there's not much point in making items that are EMCable. One thing I do want to check is the signalum, for example. That does have seeds. So we could make signalum and then make seeds. And then that way we could get signalum essence, and that would be a good way for us to get large amounts of signalum instead of having to craft it. I bet you we could do the same thing with lumium. Yeah, we sure can. That might be something we do. We may set up a few more farms to grow the things we need so that we can make these resonant integral components automatically using the essence. Because with the power that we have, and if the fact of the matter is, if we can multiply each of these each do 6,000 the way I had them. If we can multiply each one by 4, then that's 72,000 just from this array of power, just by integrating these components. And then if we want to get more RF, no, these aren't the ones we need, but if we look in here, let's look at augment real quick. Dynamo. We have these dynamos. So this increases generation rate but reduces efficiency. So if we make these, which we can easily do with the technology we have, it increases the rate that we produce power, but it uses up fuel. And since we're using lava, which is infinite from our EMC pretty much, we can handle that no problem. We may have to add in some extra EMC links or increase the level of our EMC links to keep up with the lava, but we could make a pretty ridiculous power array here, because we could actually increase our power output by double. So we could get to 320 RF per tick with just one of these. I think that they're stackable. This increases our fuel efficiency. I don't really want that one because that would give it so that we don't use as much lava. Don't particularly care about that. This is the one I want. So that's some stuff to play around with. Anyway, I've gone on long enough. This episode's already pretty long. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.